We're back with another episode of Behind the Scrubs, Life of a CNA. I am your host, Will Fletcher, and today we're going to dive into a topic that has been getting more debate than I originally thought. We're talking about CNA certification, and is it even worth it? We're going to be weighing some options, and hopefully you'll get something from it, because I know I did. And I've been doing this quite a while, but I never worked private duty, so obviously my advice was biased. It was one-sided because I only knew one side. But after talking to a few of you guys, you definitely set me straight. And I admit there are some benefits to private duty. But before I go any further, you can get your certification and still work private duty. All right, so we got that out of the way. And I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I appreciate all your patience because this is not an easy task for me. I come home and try to give you guys the best that I have, and sometimes I just don't have it, and I'm just going to admit that right off the jump. But I think you can relate to it because you don't have it every day, right? Okay. All right. So is CNA certification worth it? There's pros and cons on both sides, and let's just jump right into it. Certification, it's different in every state, but you have to take a state exam. Okay, you take the class, you take your written multiple choice test, and you take your skills. States do 3 skills, 4 skills. Here in Georgia, we do 5 skills. Well, hand washing and 4 other skills. The length varies from state to state as well. I'm hearing 2 weeks in some states. I do 6 weeks. Other programs that I taught were 4 weeks, and another one was 2 weeks. So it's all over the place. But the minimum, the federal minimum, you have to have 75 hours of CNA training. So however long your school breaks that down, depends on how long the course is, obviously. Once you finish the course, then you sit for your state exam. Now, the argument is, well, we'll get to that. The process is not that difficult for many, but some people have life experience. They've taken care of loved ones, they've taken care of friends, or they may have done some home health where CNA certification isn't required. CNA certification isn't required in assisted living. It's not required in hospital settings, for many hospital settings. So you can get experience without the certification. Not going to argue that. So some pros to being certified: job security and stability. As long as you have that certification, ideally, you can walk into any place that hires certified nursing assistants and have an opportunity to work there versus someone who does not have the certification. Stability comes with it. As long as most times, as long as you do what you're supposed to do, show up on time, take good care of your residents, be a good teammate, things you're supposed to do. There's job stability. Hospitals are not closing every day, and there's always a nursing home open. There's always an assisted living hiring. In our area, they're building assisted livings like every couple of months. So the need is there for great CNAs. And we don't talk in absolutes on this show. I know everything that I say, there's going to be thousands of people with a rebuttal. Oh, I was certified and I still couldn't find a job. We're not talking about those situations. It's going to be a case-by-case basis most times. All right, maybe it's you. Okay. There's a broader range of opportunities in Georgia. Many people are interested in the medication aid or med tech certification, but in Georgia, you have to be a CNA in order to be eligible for that. You earn your CNA certification, and then you take another short class to be able to administer medications in an assisted living facility or a nursing home. That's it as of right now for Georgia. I never I didn't used to believe in the med tech designation like many other nurses. And as a school owner, I didn't see the value in offering it because it was only used in an assisted living facility. And the experience that I had is if your facility wants you to be a med tech, they are going to train you or pay for you to become trained. But after COVID, the um, the state decided to allow med techs to work in nursing homes. And then I thought, well, this may have some value to it. So then I started offering it as a course. Potential for career advancement comes with certification. Okay, so what do we mean by that? In some facilities, they have lead CNAs or CNA 2, or maybe in a hospital setting, you can become a patient care technician or PCT, but the CNA certification is required. Okay, so already we're showing you that it's much more than getting your certification and then working bedside. Okay, I've already explained a couple of ways that you can get more opportunities and more money with your certification versus private duty or non-certified. I don't want to say private duty because it gets confusing. Another huge pro is that many colleges are requiring CNA as a prerequisite to their nursing programs. And it makes sense for everybody involved. Becoming a nurse is admirable, and it sounds, like that's, you're going to make a great living off becoming a nurse. But imagine going through your prerequisites, getting into nursing school, acing all your classes, get to your clinical rotation, you don't like blood. You can't stand the sight of vomit. So you quit. So you have taken up a spot from someone else because they only have X amount of spots for entry into the nursing program. You've taken up a spot for someone who really may have wanted it. The school is losing that revenue because you're not going to complete the program, and you wasted your time. You've been in school a year, and you finally in the program, about to knock out your 2-year program, and you get to the second year and realize this ain't for you. If you had worked as a CNA, you would have been exposed to a multitude of things: wounds, different odors, different personalities and behaviors, the scheduling. You will know how the staff interacts with each other. You may not know many of those things just by being a student, by going straight into it. And then the professional recognition that you receive. Like I said, you have a state certification. So that means you put in the time and focused, even if it was only for 2 weeks. You've done something that not everybody has done. You stand out from the rest. If I'm the hiring manager and I'm looking to raise the level of care that my residents are receiving, I'm only hiring certified people. Again, I'm not saying because you're not certified that you cannot provide good care, but that's going to be the base for us, the certification. I mean, anybody who I bring on, we're going to train them our way anyway, but the certification is the bare minimum. And it just makes me believe that you're taking the designation more serious than the average person. You didn't just wake up and say, "Let me get some scrubs and go take care of somebody." You thought about it. You dedicated your time and resources and even money to earn this certification. So I'm going to reward that. That's just me. I would love to hear from other employers, managers. I love to even hear from some CNAs who have done both. Maybe have done some private duty without certification, and then got certified and worked that a little bit, and maybe even went back to private duty because it was just better for you. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. You have to do what works for you. What worked for me worked for me, barely. So I don't expect anybody to walk the exact same path that I walked. And if you do, like, God bless you, because it was a long, lonely journey. Okay. Now, non-certified caregivers. Okay. Many times we call it private duty. Yes, indeed, they pay more. Many times double, maybe even triple, depending on the family you're working with. That is not always the case. Hey, what they say, we're gonna keep it 100. If everybody doing private duty was getting $50, $60 an hour, do you know not one person will be working in a damn nursing home or assisted living? Do you know some nurses will come off the cart to go do private duty as an aide? Like, we got to start being honest with ourselves and take some pride in our line of work to elevate all of us. Okay. Do some people earn that $50, $60 an hour, depending on what family they work for? Absolutely. I've seen me do it, but it's not the normal. Well, my next episode, we're going to be talking about CNA to entrepreneur, because I notice many people are going that route, and you absolutely should. You should use your certification to, upgrade your life, not just help someone else build their dreams. You earned it. You make it work for you. There's some truth to the higher pay, and a lot of it is myth. I ain't come on here to argue. I know for a fact I get the phone calls from all sides. I get families calling the school looking to hire people. When I had a home care agency, I had clients calling me telling me what they're going to pay. I've talked with the insurance companies, and I know exactly what the reimbursements are, and it's all over the place. There's no set number. Even now, my students ask me how much should they accept. I hate the question, but I understand it. No experience, no job experience at all. Maybe I got a 17, 18-year old. They don't have anything to put on their resume. I'll tell them, do not accept anything less than $15, because I know that's about what it is in the area. I'm out in Athens. Now, the closer you get to Atlanta, obviously the pay rate would go up. So it's different for everywhere. And again, I didn't get on here to argue. If you got $36 fresh out of school, good for you. Okay, I'm not talking to you. All right. And another benefit, a huge benefit, the benefit that I care about the most is the stress of the actual assignment. If I'm doing private duty, I'm dealing with one patient, one resident, if maybe two. If it's an elderly married couple, maybe two. And I'm gonna do my 8 hours, my 12 hours, my 16 hours, and I'm still good for the day. I might be bored to death, but in the traditional facility setting, I'm humping up and down the hall, 15, 20 or more residents to take care of, doing my rounds every 2 hours. Depending on my shift, I got one meal or two meals to serve. I have to navigate the families. I have to sometimes paint a fake smile on my face to deal with some of my coworkers. It's a lot. I mean, obviously I like it to some degree, but versus caregiving, private duty caregiving, I would, yes, put me in someone's home. I'll sit next to their bedside, make sure they don't fall out of the bed, whatever they need. Make sure they eat and drink and take their medication, watch TV with them, play scrap, whatever they like to do, we doing it. I got time to do it. I got one person to take care of. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be asleep a good amount of time, and I'm gonna take advantage of that time. I will probably on some days take a nap with the resident, but that's frowned upon, so don't do that. But I would sign up for some online classes, or maybe nothing formal, but I will go on YouTube and learn a new skill, or LinkedIn Learning. Content creation has us all in a trance. Some of you sit at your phone for hours and just scroll, watch and scroll, watch and scroll. You can make a shit ton of money doing content creation or managing social media. I'm in need of a social media manager now. I have maybe 6, 7 different ways to generate income. They all have their own lane. I can, do most of it from the One Breath CNA, but you have several different avenues. You have LinkedIn, you have Meta, you have X, you have TikTok, you have YouTube, and what works for one doesn't work for the other. I do not have time to keep up with all of that stuff. I do just good to sit here and talk to you guys for 30 minutes. Okay? Well, I don't want to get off on too far on a tangent, but just take advantage of your time. The hours are flexible sometimes. Depends on what that family has going on, and depending on who the your primary contact is. Their schedule may change every other week. So your schedule will change every other week. And if you like that, then that works out for you. I guess a gift and a curse. The best and worst part of it is you get a relationship with that one person. Okay. They know you, you know them. Okay. Clients become friends, or your family member, their family members become family. Their family members become fond of you. So, with every pro, there's also a few cons. There's less job security, right? It's just an agreement between two people. Hey, I need you to take care of my dad. This is how much we're going to pay you. This is when we need you here. That can end any day. We don't want to pay. We decided to put him in a facility. Patient may decline. Patient may pass away. Okay, all of these, you don't have to worry about that in a facility. There's always going to be residents. Okay, you will not have the opportunity to become a medication aid until you receive your CNA certification. So there's some limits there. Depending on your personality, you got to be a strong person. You're going to be isolated. Just you and the patient. No support. Usually, you have all your support is via email or telephone or text message. If your resident is not that active, they're going to be, sleeping most of the day, and you'll end up just sitting there. It's only so many snacks you can eat. It's only so many times you can watch Family Feud. Okay, so you will get bored. Not me, but some of you. In a facility, so let's compare the work environments. You're working at a hospital, nursing home, assisted living. There's a dining room, a cafeteria. You can get you something to eat. There's a break room. There's other staff. Okay, you can talk with each other, take break together. Just have some activity. It's not just all work, work, work. Even throughout the day when you're working, it's still good to bounce ideas off someone, or just to see someone, passing in the hallway, or you can wave to. Especially if you have aspirations of doing other things than CNA. You want to kick it with the social worker, the activities person. Maybe you got a new ED, and you want to see the path that they went. You may want to be an ED one day, or nursing, or a nurse. Right? They may have advice for nursing school. They may know where to apply that doesn't have a wait list. They may know which school you want to go to for your prereqs and then transfer for the actual program. They may know the prices. They may know the dean, the provost, the registrar. It's just networking. There's a standard in most places, right? You expect it to be clean and safe, and the air conditioner working and the heat working, laundry doing their job. Private duty, who knows, right? Who knows? In my experience, once an aide or a company brings an aide in, the family gets hands off. They act like they're on vacation, and you have your assignment sheet, and it clearly states what you are to do. That's not what the family heard at the meeting. They think they have a 24-hour maid, so you have to deal with that, and that will could jeopardize your job security because the families expect too much from you. Hey, I agreed to work here for $25 an hour. You told me your dad was able to ambulate on his own. You told me he can feed himself. You told me he needs standby assistance when he's, taking a shower. Since I've got here, the family leaves the pet. Now, dad can't take care of himself. How are you gonna take care of the pet? It's all kind of. I mean, I can go days and with stories and scenarios. You just got to do what's best for you. I'm gonna keep coming back to that. If you don't mind the uncertainty of, private duty, then by all means do it. Get your money. 46-year-old me, I'm doing private duty. 20-year-old me, I'm getting certified. That's the best way I could put it. So it depends on what your personal career goals are. I can't even believe I'm saying this. It's not always about the money, right? When my office is in Athens, it is 40 miles from Atlanta. I have had conversations with people who will live in Athens but want to drive to Atlanta because they paying $2 more, $80 a week more. It's not worth it to me. Hour to work my shift, an hour back. That's 2 hours out my day that I'm not being paid for. Wear and tear on my car, tires, oil change. And then you add in the gas prices, whatever they may be for that period of time. Just doesn't add up. It just doesn't. It's not always about the money. I worked for another school. Y'all know this story already. I worked for another school, and I was just supposed to be the teacher. I was supposed to be the CNA instructor. I had a class on Monday, and they came back on Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., 16 hours a week. I come, lecture this book, introduce some skills, go home. Every week they was adding a little bit more. You have to do the school laundry. You have to do their paperwork. You have to maintain their files. When I first started, I was taking pictures for Facebook. They damn near fired me. 3 months later, they came back to me, hey, while you're in class, can you take some pictures for our social media? At that point, it's all about the person who you are. I could have said no to all of that. Look, y'all gave me $20 to teach. All this stuff is extra. But I did it. I happily did it. It was paid training. They paid me while I was learning how to operate my own school. So had I not had the right mindset, I would have quit that job, went to another job where they was paying me to only be a teacher, and I would have been just a teacher for the rest of my life because it was the best job I've ever had at that moment. But it came to a point where I wanted more, and I probably would have done it eventually, but it would have been a lot more difficult. I just would have been stuck in the classroom, and then when I decided to spread my wings and get my own facility, I would have had to learn everything from scratch, trial and error. So it's not always about the money. If you want to open a home care agency, maybe go work for one. See how they do the scheduling. See what type of clients they take and don't take. See who's private pay, see who's insurance. But if you go into it, I mean, again, everybody's different. I'll keep saying it. Everybody's different. CNA may be your second income, or you may just need to put together a quick $5,000 having your bank account to purchase a home, and you're gonna use your CNA to get that. So you don't have aspirations of becoming an RN or an administrator or anything like that. You don't want to stay in the field. Just as a quick certification, so you can get some quick money, and you out as fast as you were in. Different for everybody. Certified nursing assistants, the pay range is not that great. It's not that much wiggle. It's gonna be from $15 to $22 at most times, most places, and anywhere. I mean, that's a huge range for something like $7 difference, but it depends on the setting, the shift, the weekend, the differential. A lot of stuff goes into that. Caregiving is basically it's just what you negotiate. Leave it at that. We discussed pros and cons of both becoming certified and not wasting your time on certification. I emphasize it's definitely a personal choice. I encourage you to evaluate your own circumstances, create your goals. The worst thing you can do is make your decision solely based on the words of others. Depending on the person, a group of people only tell you the good stuff, and a group of people only tell you the bad stuff. Nobody tells you the in betweens. It's one of the reasons I started this channel, because I hope to provide the in between that you're missing. If you have any ideas for this episode, or if you have any topics you want me to discuss in the near future, share them with me. I definitely want to hear your experiences, questions. If I went down the wrong path and you know that something else is true, or maybe my information is outdated, I want to hear about it. Not perfect. Sometimes I've been nervous this whole episode. I don't even remember half of the stuff I said. I'm glad I'm recording, because I'll go back and watch it. And if I have any corrections, I'll definitely update. The next episode, I've already, I guess, spoke it up a little earlier in this episode. The next episode is from caregiver to entrepreneur. From bedside to business is the title. So you want to stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys next time. This is Will Fletcher, and you just listened to Behind the Scrubs, Life of a CNA.